Yeah. Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the Friday night live stream from Michigan, the live Q&A where you can throw out any questions that you might have, and I'll do my best to get them answered, and I'll go through some Bitcoin news for you. So let's get started. All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm happy you're all here. There's big news this week, a lot of news to cover, and a lot of this news is leading to the very nature of Bitcoin and what encryption is all about, HASHRATE, and a lot of things like that. So I'm going to go through that with you guys. So I hope you stick around. So I'd like to give your attention to the description down below. I've done a little extra work this week. What I've done is put X has a larger screen, holds more apps, and it supports Bluetooth. So what more could you want out of a Bitcoin-based hardware wallet? And you can also hold other cryptocurrencies as well. So check out my affiliate links down below. Check out all of the news stories that I've got links to down below. And let's get started with the news. Oh dear. All right, so let me see who's here very quickly. Let's see. Oh, lots of people. All right, so I'm going to pop out my chat window over here. All right, and we're going to switch over here to on-screen demo. And we're going to pull up the green screen. Right, for a seamless effect of my disembodied head floating around over here. All right, and let's jump on that first big thing. Okay. All right. I just got a weird message from Binance. I don't know what that's all about. So EKS, aloha. Nice to see you. Parlay Cross from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome. Hobart. D is here. I invested in my 401k crypto at 10K. She puts words into my mouth, but sometimes they're sweet, so I'll take it. Method Man 95, DJ Cute. Hey, thumbs up. Mr. David from Texas. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Method Man. Cool. Betty A. Good. Hello, Betty. John Blackburn, Bueno from Tejas. Crypto Time is here. CFI Randy is here. So, thanks for joining me. So, a lot of stuff happening this week with Bitcoin. And, you know, it might be bad. It might be depressing for some people when they see the price of Bitcoin go down. But in the long term, Bitcoin is doing well. There's a lot of metrics that are just keep going up over the course of its 10-year history. So these downward dips are nothing really to be worried about. The interesting thing is they tend to bring a lot of attention to Bitcoin. So we'll see how that plays out as well. Read some stories about some people that are positioning themselves to buy with some tether. I think I've got that story in here somewhere. But let's go through the first big story, which was the dip in Bitcoin and why, oh why did it happen? All right. So this is a pretty decent article where it talks about the price of Bitcoin taking that 20% dip. And here are some of the major reasons that I read about this week that are pretty well summed up in this article. Geopolitical goop. Okay, so we can talk about the same things that are moving the stock market and the bond market. We've got President Trump and the Chinese trade negotiations. You know, we have his speech at the UN where he's talking about China and trade and socialism and all that good stuff. And then all of a sudden they open up impeachment. So that is a geopolitical wrench in the works, so to speak, with just about any market, right? So Bitcoin was not spared. Then we've got the backed debacle, so to speak. We've talked a lot about backed, B-A-K-K-T, and, you know, there was a lot of anticipation. with backed opening its futures trading, the physically settled futures trading for Bitcoin. And there wasn't a whole lot of, I don't know, I think everyone was expecting Bitcoin to hit 20 grand or 40 grand, the day backed open. And the results, or the real thing that happened, was anticlimactic, so to speak. So there weren't a lot of BTC contracts traded on the first day and or the first week. So lackluster. So a little bit of a disappointment. And you could say that the market was built up in anticipation of this and already priced in, and sell, buy the news, sell, or buy the rumor, sell the news, kind of a thing. All right. So, but that really didn't seem to have too much of an impact as the week wore on. There was the hash rate heresy, which was Bitcoin's hash rate dropped by 40%. And I'll go a little more deeper into that. I have a great article on exactly what happened. The short answer here is that the hash rate has since recovered. It was a minor blip. So, but that was one of the reasons they gave for this huge drop, that there was a confidence loss in Bitcoin. And then the other one is the sorry September sentiment. People in September aren't that happy, I guess. That's one thing. And then there was the technical trigger, the $9,000 mark trigger, which got people worried, right? When you analyze charts and that sort of thing, there's these psychological levels, and so that was part of what contributed to the huge drop. And then stop loss hunting, which is the whales are looking for bargains, and they manipulate to the market to their advantage. So they can unload large amounts of Bitcoin and watch everyone else start to panic, and then scoop up more Bitcoin, when the price goes down. But that is a real thing. That is just human nature. But you could get caught in a trap doing that. You might liquidate all your Bitcoin thinking you're going to drop the market. And unfortunately, the market goes the other way. You're not expecting it. And then, you just dumped $1 million worth of Bitcoin, and now you got to spend, $1.5 million to get it back, right? So let's hope that this strategy backfires soon on some of these whales, right? All right. And then there was also the quantum announcement about Google, that Google has achieved a quantum computer. And we'll talk a little bit about that too. So the first one is, the Bitcoin price was manipulated before futures settlement. All right, so that was kind of a big story. And they did some analysis, and they found that 75% of the time when these CME futures, these are the Chicago Mercantile Exchange futures, expired, that there was a drop in Bitcoin. Now, I don't see it in this article. I thought I read it in a different article that on the average it's only 2%. So it's not really paired with these huge dips. Let's see. So this week, Bitcoin nosedived 15%, right around the time of futures contract expiration. All right. But the article pretty much and then some people were saying that Bitcoin was a sign of the market finding its true value. But I don't believe that the true value of Bitcoin is low. I believe that it's much higher. So that's just my personal opinion. Now, they said that this was not deliberate manipulation. This wasn't like premeditated, criminal manipulation. It was more just market behavior of futures players that caused this sort of dip. So, it's just a market behavior kind of thing. All right, so let's get a little deeper into it. We talked about I talked a little bit about the Bitcoin hash rate triggering this short-term panic. And I think I read more about this. We'll go back. All right. We'll just read this one. All right, so this was the initial story that I was going to bring up about the Bitcoin hash rate dropping earlier in the week, which caused sort of a panic. I guess people thought Bitcoin is broken, you know, because of the hash rate going down. But as I mentioned, there's another story that I found, and let's see what I did with it. Okay, here it is. What crash? Okay. So here's a great story about that Bitcoin hash rate crash. Bitcoin hash rate doubles in 24 hours despite price drop. So the Bitcoin hash rate is a measurement of how much hashing power is in the entire Bitcoin network at any given time. This is all of the machines that are hashing and trying to churn away to earn Bitcoin and process transactions. It's sort of a measurement of computing power or actual work that's going on. So the hash rate has been going up and it's been hitting all-time highs recently. And so this drop, we don't know exactly what caused the drop. Some people said it was Chinese government confiscating Mongolian Bitcoin miners. And then there was another theory that it had something to do with some power outages in Russia. But they point out in this particular article that this hash rate analysis is a best guess kind of a thing. And it's not an exact science, and it basically just gives you your best guess of what the hashing power is. So a 15% drop can be expected, and it's not the end of the world, basically. So I thought that was pretty cool. So now let's see, where are we? All right, let's get into the really interesting story. And I'm sorry, and I hope this doesn't get too boring for everybody. All right, okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's do that. All right. Okay, so Scott Lee's here. That's good. That's very good. Quantum computer breakthrough, not a risk to Bitcoin. So there, and I've been researching this story most of the day, and it was difficult to wrap my head around some of these things. But broken down, there was this story that broke earlier in the week that said that Google has achieved a quantum computer. Okay, that's the headline. All right. So, but it's not as cut and dried as that. Okay. So, the first of all, it was announced because there was a document posted on the NASA website, because apparently NASA is working with Google on this thing, that was quickly deleted. All right. So they posted this article that Google had achieved this quantum computer that was able to solve a problem that would have taken a normal computer 10,000 years, and it did it in 3.5 minutes or whatever it was. All right. So, and then they quickly deleted it. So if they're going to delete it right away, there may be a good reason why they deleted it. And one of those reasons was that it hadn't been scientifically verified yet or replicated, so to speak, in any way or form. That it was just kind of sort of a scientific rumor. The news looked pretty good. They posted the article, and then some people said, wait a minute, we weren't supposed to release that yet. We haven't verified it or qualified it or anything else. And I don't think that Google has really made any comments on this yet. So it may not even be a thing, right? It's just an article that got posted and then deleted. All right. And then it got reprinted in other websites and other publications and sort of propagated across the internet as the truth, right? But we don't even know if it's the truth yet. So that's one thing. And then if we go into it just a little bit more, here's that a computer that would have taken 10,000 years, and the quantum computer did it in only 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay, well, that's all fine and dandy if you're working on one particular problem. And that may very well be. Let's assume that it is the truth and that they managed to get this calculation done that was working on this particular problem. This is not elliptical curve cryptography that they're talking about breaking here. They're just talking about one particular theoretical problem that they managed to, a mathematical problem that they managed to solve in 3 minutes and 20 seconds, whereas a normal computer would have taken much longer. All right. So when we get more into exactly what it was that they were doing, I guess he doesn't go into it too much in this article. So let's go a little further into it. I like this article here. Google's machine, we're talking about the encryption that underlies Bitcoin and the blockchain. We're talking about public-private key cryptography here. And SHA-256 is the hashing function that the Bitcoin network uses to verify each block. All right? So it is theoretical that there is a quantum computer could use Shor's algorithm to get your private key from your public key. And I know that sounds weird, but let's just leave it at that. Let's just say that that is possible. And we'll go on to talk about how they could even get your public key in the first place. But let's just say that that's possible. Google's machine is only 53 quantum bits. And a 160-bit elliptical curve cryptography key could be broken on a quantum computer using around 1,000 qubits. All right, so we're looking at a machine that Google has made that's only 53 qubits, but it would require 1,000 qubits to break the 160-bit elliptical curve cryptography. But the 124-bit RSA modulus would require 2,000 qubits. All right, so the machine, if we even take that it's a real thing, would require a lot more qubits of computing power to break the Bitcoin cryptography protocols, the protocols that underlie Bitcoin and the blockchain. All right? And we don't even know how they can scale 53 qubits. It might be exponential, difficult. So to go from 53 to 100 qubits might take them 3 years, and then to get from 100 to 1,000 might take them exponentially longer, right? So we're not talking about a direct threat to Bitcoin at this moment. But this brings up some really interesting points here. Now, the idea here with Shor's algorithm is that a Bitcoin wallet consists of a private key and a public key. And the way that Bitcoin normally works is that, let's see here, you can, let's see if I can get the sentence here for you. Okay. A private key is always mathematically related to the Bitcoin wallet address, but it is impossible to reverse engineer thanks to strong encryption codebase. So if you have the private key, you can derive the public key. That's not that difficult. But theoretically, and this is the way Bitcoin was built, you cannot take that public key and do calculations on it to derive the private key because the encryption is so strong. Now, quantum computing is saying that, yes, we might be able to do this at a point, right? If we have enough qubits, we'll be able to do this. But first, they're going to need your public key. Now, this is a part where I got a little confused. And as it turns out, the public key of your Bitcoin address is not your receiving address. The receiving address is something different. So here we go. The final hash, your wallet address, every public key is 256 bits long. And that's mathematical stuff, right? But we never really expose that public key. It's part of our wallet, but we never actually send it out to anybody. Well, we do it at a certain point. But if we say, hey, I want you to send me some Bitcoin, we don't show our public key. We show a wallet address, which is 160 bits long, which is a hash of the public key. So we're never really showing our public key. So when do we show our public key? Well, we show our public key when we send Bitcoin out from our wallet. So if we have a wallet, let's say our wallet has 10 Bitcoins in it, and we send 1 Bitcoin out. In order to do that transaction, within that transaction is that public key. So that is exposing our public key. Now, if we send out all of the Bitcoin from that address, then who cares if anybody finds that private key? It's going to be empty. The danger is when we send out some of the Bitcoin and we leave some in there, then that public key has been exposed, and it is possible for someone to find that public key and then reverse engineer it using the quantum computer and Scholl's algorithm, right? Pretty slim chances, but very interesting. So if you're more interested into any of this stuff, I've got some great articles linked down there below where there were actually some PDFs that are linked to. Very technical. You're going to need to have some time on your hands. Quantum attacks on Bitcoin and how to protect against them. And this is an article about what Bitcoin coders can do to prepare for quantum computing attacks. So there is time, right? And then the other article that I have linked down below is what is Shor's algorithm and how does it work, right? And then I also linked to some other cool articles. If I can find them. Let's see here. Quantum supremacy and okay, yeah, this was the interesting article. This one here. It is calculated that there are 36% of the Bitcoin addresses out there have had their public key exposed. So that's only 30%, 36% of all the wallets out there right now have got their public keys exposed. So if you have a Bitcoin wallet and all you do is send Bitcoin into it, you're never exposing your public key. So, and then every time that you send someone your Bitcoin address, you should always generate a new address, which improves your security and privacy. So I'll stop with this. I'll look at what you guys are talking about and maybe answer some questions. You guys, I think I've lost a lot of you. Okay. EKS is saying that it's long been known that Google has been testing a 27-qubit device called Bristlecone, with which it hoped to achieve quantum supremacy. Yeah, and then there's a difference between quantum, there's quantum supremacy, and then there's quantum something else. This thing that they just done is not quantum supremacy. What they've just done was quantum. There's another. It's quantum. I don't know, quantum something, but not supremacy that they've just achieved. They've just managed to make a quantum computer. They haven't achieved quantum supremacy, which is a technical term, which has a little more meaning. That's on the order of some years in the future. All right, but the threat is that there is a growing risk that quantum computing might break Bitcoin's cryptography. So the Bitcoin developers are going to need to compensate for that as they move forward with the Bitcoin code base, right? It's open source code. It can be altered. It can be updated. It can be upgraded, improved. they're working on it all the time. So don't feel like you need to throw all your Bitcoin away simply because there was an article posted that was quickly deleted talking about Google. Okay. Okay, so Scott's more into Digibyte. So let's talk a little bit about keys. I know it's a little dry subject. This is on the Bitcoin org website, and it's talking about privacy. Now, we were talking before about public keys and how Scholl's algorithm could take a public key, the part of the private public key pair, to derive the private key. Now we're talking about sending addresses. Okay, sending addresses are different. A sending address is what gets generated when you're sending Bitcoin to your wallet. So in other words, you open your wallet and you say receive, and then you get a public address, a sending address, and then you paste that into Binance or Coinbase or whatever to get your coins over, right? That is a sending address. But it does raise some privacy issues. So there is a transaction ledger that you can browse based on a sending address, right? And if I use the same sending address over and over again, then all of those transactions that are associated with that sending address will be visible to anyone that wants to browse the blockchain. So if they compare that with my IP address, then they know a lot more about me. So if I'm going to be using Bitcoin and sending Bitcoin into my wallet, best practice is to generate a new sending address every time. And that's what the Ledger Nano X does by default. So we really don't have to worry about that. A lot of people have asked me that. They say, hey, I just plugged in my Ledger Nano S or X, and I want to send some money from Coinbase into my wallet, and that address looks different. Is that an attacker's address? No, it could be, but it's not. The wallet by default generates a brand new address every time you need to send money into the value or Bitcoin or ADA or whatever you're sending into the wallet. Best practice is to always generate a new sending address every time you make a transaction. This will increase your privacy so that they can't just find one address and see all of your transactions. They have to find multiple addresses. It's more difficult to piece together your history when you use a new sending address for each transaction. Dummies for what? I had a dummies up here too. I don't know that I pulled it up. Let's see where we are here. Whoops. I had a Bitcoin for dummies. Yeah. I think it's this one. Yeah. Yeah. Bitcoin public and private keys. Where it talk. Oh yeah, I was talking about this one earlier. So for dummies website. Hey. So sometimes you need it broken down as simple as possible. And so this was a pretty good article. I'm not sure if I put it in the description, though. Let's just check. Yeah, and check out this description. Pretty cool. I put as many articles as I could in there for you guys that you could refer to these down the road. I was thinking it might be a little frustrating that I'm constantly talking about these articles and then not not giving you links to them. Okay, so we can move a little Bitcoin around. And then the long and short of all this is, if you guys recall, I am constantly revealing my sending addresses to you guys. I'm not really revealing never revealing private keys, of course. And I don't think that I've ever revealed any of my public keys. but I believe I've done some sending back and forth between wallets. So when I send Bitcoin from my ledger to an exchange, I'm revealing my public key in that transaction, which you don't see it, but it's in there if someone were to analyze the entire transaction. Yeah. Okay. And then Betty is pointing out that the cryptocurrency exchanges, they like to offer you the option of saving addresses so that you can continuously send your coins to that exact same address every time to just make life easier on you. And it does make life easier on you, and you're not really breaking the encryption when you do that. You are reducing your privacy to a certain extent when you do that. When you send, but it is feasible. And like for instance, if you look at my down here in my description, I've got some donation addresses. So those donation addresses are, I wouldn't want to put anything in those addresses for long-term storage. If I were to move Bitcoin from one place to another, from an exchange or whatever, into my own long-term storage wallet, I wouldn't use any of these addresses. They're inherently not very private, right? Because all of the donations, these small donations that are coming in to me, are showing up on these addresses. And also, there's a lot of the tax site where cointracker.com is destroying all of our privacy as well. So, but we're not exposing public keys really until we send money out from a wallet and leave a balance in there. Okay, so Crypto Tips has a bit to say about quantum computers. She is short and sweet about just about everything and may ease your worry. Please add Cardano tip. Oh, what's the matter, buddy?
Oh, Daddy, remember.
What about your bottle and Alex's secret juice?
Yeah, also unlock the Roblox.
Unlock Roblox?
Yeah, unlock it.
It's locked?
No, unlock it.
So you're saying that it is locked and you want me to unlock it?
No, lock it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'll do that later, okay?
You're not smart.
No, I am smart, but you're not serious.
No, wait, you're not serious.
Yeah. All right. So if any of you recall last week, my son Alex was quite upset at his Roblox game. And so he came to me and told me that he wanted me to delete it off of his computer for 2 years. And then he would play it again later. And so just now he came up and reminded me that I still haven't locked his Roblox. He's so angry at his game. Okay. Yeah. All right. So tell you what, why don't we play around with Cardano, and then we'll go ahead and add that to my list of donation addresses, just for fun. All right. So let's take our Ledger Nano X. In fact, this will be a good way that we can, I'm going to do this other. All right. So, yeah, let's start over here. Oh, we're on it. Okay. All right. So we got this. This is hard for me. There we go. Okay. There. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. So I'm going to enter my PIN. All right. All right, so when we enter our PIN, we're at what's called the home screen, right? And like I said, this is the Ledger Nano X, It holds a lot more apps. I think I've got about 10 or 15 on here, right? So we're just going to navigate. We'll navigate over using the buttons. Okay. All right. Until we get over to Ada. Right. And then I'm going to hit both buttons and enter the Ada app. All right. Now it's waiting for commands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to Ada Lite. Let's see. All right. Now, if you recall, Ada Lite is a web-based interface for your Cardano wallet. Now, and it's going to link to my ledger. So the ledger is where the Cardano private key is stored, and it's not being exposed on this website. Right? I am exporting the public key to the website so that the website can validate transactions. It's an interface. So we'll hit continue here. And I want hardware wallet, and I'm going to choose ledger, right? So let's, I just want you guys to see what happens here, if I can hold this thing straight. Oh my. Okay. All right. Waiting for commands, right? So I'm going to hit unlock with ledger. There. It wants me to export the public key so that they'll be able to read my balance, right? And then I'm going to hit that 2 buttons again. All right. And now we're back to waiting for commands, and we've got the Ada wallet open. All right. I'll get that out of the way. All right, now I've got several addresses here. You can see I can always get a new address, and I'm exposing all of these sending addresses to you guys. It's the price I pay for running this channel. So I'm just going to copy this address right here, right? And then we'll go back over to the YouTube description of this live stream. All right, and so let's say Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and whoops. Oh, I have to edit this, don't I? Don't I? I think I do. Can I edit? Yes, I can. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Donate Ada. All right. Paste. There we go. All right, and so I've just saved Ada donation address on in the description of this live stream. All right. So what are we going to do with this Ada? Are we going to do anything fun with this Ada? We could deposit it. We could deposit some of it on BINANCE US. So why don't we try that out? I think I've already make sure that I'm here. I might have to re-log in. Okay, so here's my BINANCE US wallet interface, right? Here's the BINANCE US homepage, and then we'll go in here to wallet up here at the top. We'll hit balance, and we can see all of the cryptocurrency. And there's Ada, all right? So I want to send some Ada into my cryptocurrency account. Let's just say Ada has exploded in value and I want to sell it, right? Which is the complete opposite of reality at this point. But let's hit deposit. All right, there's the deposit address that they want me to send my Ada to, right? This is the deposit address for my BINANCE US Ada wallet, right? So I'm going to copy that. All right, and then we'll go back over here to the Ada Lite website, and we'll paste in that address. All right, it's a pretty long address. Ada addresses are pretty long. How much are we going to send? Let's send, 1,000? Yeah, sure, why not? All right, so I'm going to send 1,000. Now, the interesting thing that I want to show you guys when I do this is the amount of information that I'm going to be getting on this device, my Ledger Nano device. All right, so I want to hold that up there for you guys so you can see it. So I'm going to hit Send Ada, and I'm going to confirm that. All right, and there. Start a new transaction. I'm going to hit both buttons. Send ADA 1000. I'm going to hit both buttons. There's the address. 1 of 3. All right, I'm going to hit both buttons. There's that transaction fee. I'm going to hit both buttons. I'm going to confirm, hitting both buttons, and let's see if that worked. I think I was trying one last week where I was too slow. All right, it says transaction submitted and that it's syncing the wallet. So it should take it a minute, and I can turn this part of it off. You don't need that up there. Boom, there we go. All right, so we just sent 1,000 out of this wallet into my Binance US account. So this has traditionally been the way that I've gotten funds into most of the cryptocurrency exchanges, making a cryptocurrency deposit. I don't know if people can wrap their heads around this, but this was one of the only ways you could get ADA for a while, because you still can't buy ADA on Coinbase, right? So most people had Coinbase, and they would buy Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum on Coinbase using their debit card or their bank account, right? Something they could wrap their heads around. But then they would say to themselves, well, how do I get ADA? Binance won't accept my bank transfer or my debit card. I think you can do wire transfers, but they're like minimum 1,000. But what about the normal Joe like you and I who doesn't have 1,000 to spend every month and a half, right? Or every month. They may have 100 or 200, right? So there was no way to get money into Binance. So what you had to do was buy your cryptocurrency on Coinbase and then deposit the cryptocurrency into your Binance or your Bittrex or your Poloniex or your BitMEX or whatever other cryptocurrency exchange was out there that you weren't able to connect with your fiat. All right, so let's take a look over here. Deposit and withdrawal history. We're going to go from fiat to crypto, and there's some ADA coming in, right? So as soon as that ADA comes in fully, then it'll be confirmed and spendable and tradable on Binance US. All right. Yeah, I lost my coins. Kids are coming in smarter than ever. Yeah. Okay. Well, Scott mentioned XRP, and XRP has took a huge dive. So if you believe in XRP, now's the time to buy, right? Now is the time to buy. Thank you, EKS. Upgraded my Apple phone software 13.0 and my Theta wallet froze. Can't get response from Theta team. Any suggestions, anyone? All right, so G Graham, if you're running a phone-based wallet that's non-custodial, and I'm not sure what kind of Theta wallet you're running on your phone, my suggestion, do you have your recovery phrase written down somewhere? So we talked about Trust Wallet a lot last week, and the Trust Wallet has a recovery phrase, so that if the wallet freezes or needs to be uninstalled and reinstalled, I can restore my wallet using that private or that 12-word recovery phrase. So I'm not sure about the Theta wallet. Let's see what kind of wallet it is. Man, my nose will not stop itching. I can go all day without touching my nose, but whenever I'm doing my live stream, I notice that I scratch my nose all the time. Must be a nervous habit. Theta wallet. Okay, let's do that. All right, iOS. Okay, wow. Kill me. Kill me now. Kill me now. All right, so let's see. This is Theta wallet. Functions as a Theta ERC20 wallet today. When the mainnet launches in March. Oy, this is kind of old. All right, well, let's just for kicks. Boy. Let's just for kicks. If I can get this to work, I've been having trouble. It says that it's connected. Okay. But it's not. All right, let's try it again. Okay, there we go. Let's try to download the Theta wallet and see what happens. Here it is. Theta wallet. Is that our guy? Yeah, let's get him. All right. All right, here we go. All right, let's open it up. Okay, blah, 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 blah. It's still talking about March of 2019, which is kind of weird. Doesn't give me much confidence in Theta. Okay. All right, so we create... Okay, here we go. So let's just say that you upgraded to iOS 13, your Theta wallet froze. Make sure you've got that recovery phrase, right? It's got to be there somewhere, because when I created a wallet, they gave me this phrase, right? So I'm assuming you wrote that down. I pray to God that you wrote that down somewhere. All right? All right, and there it is. I'm going to cancel this. And now, let's say that your Theta wallet freezes, okay, in iOS 13. And it's going to always freeze, no matter how many times you uninstall and reinstall it. You can just hang on and wait. Hey, Binance is telling us that the ADA came in. That's good. We can just wait for the wallet to get upgraded or whatever. As long as you've got that recovery phrase, your funds are safe, right? You have control of that, right? And then just reinstall it, hit import, and put in those words. No big deal. How do you do this? Oh, okay, right. Right, so we can put in all of the words as they came into the wallet and restore the wallet. So my first suggestion would be, if it's totally frozen, delete the app. But if it's totally frozen, make sure you have your recovery phrase first. All right, then you can delete the app. Then you can reinstall the app and go through this process. Do an import. See if it works. If it freezes again, then I would say just wait until it gets upgraded. You could maybe install it on an old phone that you may have around if you need to send and receive. Maybe downgrade your phone back to iOS 12 and then reinstall it. Or maybe, there's lots of ways you can get around this. But I know it can be frustrating when new iOSs come out and they break your old apps. It happens a lot. So, but if you've got that recovery phrase, you have nothing to worry about. All right. Hey, Tech49928. Good to see you here. G. Graham, no problem. I hope that helps. I really do. I know, when you're dealing with money, it's kind of scary. Used to be with technology, when your computer froze, At least you could go to the ATM machine and get some money. But when your money is stored on your phone or your computer and things go crazy, I know it's frustrating. Oh, yeah. Before there was an article that I was reading about Bitcoin being a safe haven. And that's the what's the word I'm looking for? The prevailing narrative over the last several months for Bitcoin has been that it's behaving as a safe haven asset. Well, this big dip proved otherwise, right? So let's just talk about that a little bit. BTC in this article, and I don't think I pasted this one into the description yet either. Some of these are just the links, right? Whoops. So we'll hit save changes there. So the article is talking about the fact that because of the latest dip, that Bitcoin is not acting like a safe haven. It's not moving in correlation or coordination with gold or bonds or other traditional safe havens. But that was kind of the narrative over the last several months, that Bitcoin was beginning to act as a safe haven. And I think in many ways it will be considered a safe haven as time goes by. But there are a lot of other factors influencing the day-to-day price of Bitcoin. So I don't believe that it's not fully accepted as a safe haven, even by Bitcoin holders. You have to remember there are Bitcoin holders, Bitcoin believers, and then there are also Bitcoin traders, people that really are in it for their the trading, the short-term gains and losses, so to speak, that really don't believe in Bitcoin. And so they're not treating it as a safe haven. They're treating it as like a commodity or an asset or a stock or a bond or whatever fits their bill for how they want to trade it and make money off of it, right? So we can't expect everyone that holds Bitcoin to treat it as a safe haven. So, and I think we talked a couple weeks ago that some fund managers are putting a small percentage of Bitcoin in their funds, not because they think it's a safe haven, but because it does not correlate with other assets. And that is a plus in their book, right? They don't think it correlates with gold. They don't think it correlates with stocks. They don't think it correlates with bonds. They think it has its own behavior that does not correlate with these other assets, and that is a good thing to round out a portfolio, right? You want to have some assets in there that don't always follow the same rules as the other assets that you're holding. It sort of makes your portfolio more robust, right? So, and I guess as far as your risk aversion goes, it can be a higher percentage, right? I think the norm is like 2 to 3%. These big fund guys, but a normal person might, if they're risk averse, put in 20-30% of their portfolio in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, right? Because they don't correlate to stocks and bonds. Right? So interesting stuff about Bitcoin. Where were we? I think we were moving around. Oh, let's show this. Yeah. So Scott Lee mentions that there was a Costco employee that purchased a ton of BTC at the top of the market in 2017, and there are people now that had just started getting involved in Bitcoin this year, and they're doing pretty well. As 2017 gets further and further in the rearview mirror, there are less and less of those people that jumped in at the peak in 2017. But there are still a lot of them out there. So I know that's tough for people that put a lot of money into Bitcoin in 2017, and they've been red ever since. So, but in the long term, they're probably going to be okay as long as they hang on to that investment. Now, people have different needs on their investment vehicles. And we talked about this before. Uh, a lot of people will look back in hindsight and say, oh man, I should have bought Amazon, right? Well, what if they had bought Amazon back when it was cheap? Who's to say that after $100 to $200 increase, they didn't cash out, right? Because they had no way of knowing future where it's going to be. It's easy to look back in hindsight and say, oh, I should have bought, should have put all my money in Amazon. Well, had you done that without knowing the future, you might have already sold your Amazon for a tidy little profit and bought yourself a speedboat and then, watched Amazon continue to go up. So it's easy to say, I wish I could go back in time and buy it at a certain time. So the people that put some money in Bitcoin in 2017 that could afford it and didn't have to liquidate, they should be okay if they just hang on to it. But it's sad to know that there were people that were forced to liquidate because they had bills to pay or whatever the case may be. Right. So, the old adage, you haven't lost anything until you've sold it. You haven't lost any money until you've sold it kind of holds true here. A lot of people debunk that as being false for several reasons, which I can't quite remember. And I think part of it was like in the case of a stock. Let's say you own a stock, Apple or whatever, and the price goes down. Then you have less of an asset with which to leverage, right? So in a sense, you have lost money even if you haven't sold yet. But I think, the long and short, if you haven't sold, then you haven't lost money really holds true when you're dealing with long-term investments, right? You haven't really lost any money until you've sold. Okay, Digibyte is under a penny. Don't let me say I told you so. Well, funny, Scott, that you should mention that because I think last week you mentioned that people were asking whether they thought Bitcoin would go up or down, and you said, I hope it goes down. I want to buy some more. So I hope you managed to buy a little bit. I was talking with David last night, and I bought some when it got down to 95. I was like, hey, it's down at 95. Let me pick some up. Bought $100 worth at 95, and then the next morning it was 8,000. So you never really know. You can't really catch the bottom. I always tend to be broke when the market tanks. I was considering hawking some jewelry or something so that I could buy Bitcoin, but I stopped myself and said that's an act of desperation, right? Yeah, I'm not going to sell the farm just to buy Bitcoin, but I will buy as much as I can with my disposable income. Let's go back over here. I got, as you mentioned, as you saw that email come in on my phone, my ADA has now completed. We should be able to go to the dashboard and see that there's another $50 worth of ADA in there, right? It's cool how they've got it broken down here in this little chart. It's pretty cool. But let's go over here to wallet, and there you can see 39.3. I think there was $90 worth at 2,300, and I sent 1,000, so roughly $40 worth of ADA. Now I could trade this ADA if I wanted to, or I could just leave it here. Remains to be seen. It's not a lot of ADA, relatively speaking, but if ADA if the markets bounce back, ADA being around 4 cents right now, it could go back up to 8 cents, and then it's going to be like $80. So I might use it to buy something else. Who knows? All right. Juan Zayas, thanks for joining us here. We're talking a lot about what Bitcoin addresses are and how they work, and moving a little bit of ADA back and forth. While I've got the phone working, this thing, what the heck did I just do? Yeah, there it is. I'd like to go over to crypto.com briefly. And I think I did a video a couple days ago about crypto.com that you can get free Netflix and Spotify using Crypto.com. And the way you do that is you use your Crypto.com card to pay for your Netflix. So I haven't done it yet. It hasn't actually gone through yet. But if you look over here in the Crypto.com website, whoops. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. I know I talk a lot about Crypto.com, but it's a very innovative platform for cryptocurrencies. You know, I've always told you guys that the best practice is to store your cryptocurrency in your own wallet, and I still believe that in general. But there are some use cases, and they're becoming more and more available to people for staking your coins, right? Binance is offering coin staking. So basically what that means is if you store your coins on their platform, then they will pay you interest. And in a age where you are not getting much of anything from banks, you know, back when I was a kid, they always taught you put your money in the bank and you earn interest, and you watch your money grow, right? Well, now banks have all these fees, you know, your checking fees, your online fees or whatever, that are constantly whittling away at your balance. And whatever percentage that they're paying you is minuscule. And banks are almost going negative these days. So we've got, I believe Coinbase is offering staking services to their institutional clients. Binance is offering staking service to their to their international clients. I don't know that they'll do that on Binance US yet. And then Crypto.com, which is like you or I can do Crypto.com. And I talked about Crypto Earn, but I wanted to finish my thought here with that Netflix thing. So you can get discounts on your travel for the higher tier cards. That's not really. But your Spotify account, you get 100% rebate on your Spotify, and you get 100% rebate on your Netflix. And so if you have a 500 MCO card, you can see here, you get 100% on Spotify and 100% on Netflix. So basically what I did was I loaded up my card. Right? I put some money in my MCO card. I got 96 bucks in there. And I went to my settings in my Netflix and my Spotify accounts, and I changed my method of payment to my MCO Visa card. It works like any other Visa card. I just put it in there, and so when my Netflix account charges me next month, it'll take it off this card. And then the MCO Visa card will give me that cash back. May not be right away, right? It's a rebate. You got to wait a little bit. But in the long run, you're basically getting your Netflix for free. And that's cool for me because I've got like, you know, the digital one, you know, where that gives me the 4K. So I'm paying like 15, 16 bucks a month. Yeah, it's funny how they start off small, right? And then they edge you up. So anyway, that's a good thing. And then I did another video on their Crypto Earn, which is their staking service, right? So in Crypto Earn, you've got all these tiers where you can deposit your cryptocurrency into Crypto Earn for set amounts of time. So if you put it in for 3 months, you can get up to 8% on Bitcoin. And if you put it in, if you use their CRO, their cryptocurrency, if you store their cryptocurrency, you get 18%. This is annual, right? So you would have to be in there for a full year for it to give you that full percentage. But that's pretty good, even short term. And then they have other tiers where you don't have to put it in for any set amount of time. It's flexible, right? I could put it in and earn 4% on my Bitcoin and take it out at any point. So this is a staking, right? So this is a way, you know, if we look at the way that finance is being transformed, if I have money, if I've got $10,000 sitting in my savings account in my bank, it is doing nothing. They might be giving me 1%, So why not take that money, buy Bitcoin with it, put it in crypto.com, put it in crypto earn, and let it start earning 8% annually. That's like a no-brainer, right? So just convert your money to Bitcoin and store it in crypto.com. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of objections that you raise. Oh, it seems too good to be true, or do you trust these people, or what if you can't get it out, and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is the new paradigm. Are you gonna be a doubter, or are you gonna be a trendsetter, right? What are you gonna do with your life? I'm not trying to like tell you to, throw all your money away. This is just my opinion. But Crypto Lark tells you the same thing. If you guys haven't checked out Crypto Lark, go up in the corner. I've got his a Crypto Lark card and Crypto Bitcoin Chris. So check out Crypto Lark. He's a big believer in Bitcoin, and he's a believer in staking too. So this is the crypto industry is maturing. Oh, and thanks for the thumbs up suggestion. I appreciate it. I'm not I try not to prostitute myself too much on my channel and beg for likes, but you guys always remember. I wanted to, what did we just talk about? We talked about something that reminded me of a story. Ah, yes. This was Crypto Lark's big story. Venezuela has Bitcoin stash and doesn't know what to do with it. Interesting title, right? The title makes no sense whatsoever. The big story here is that a country, a sovereign nation, their central bank is considering storing Bitcoin and Ethereum as a reserve currency. The bank, right? The The central bank of a sovereign nation is going to start storing Bitcoin and using it to pay for their oil and have other people pay them in cryptocurrency. This is huge. This was the lead story for Crypto Lark this morning. Now it is Venezuela, right? When you go, hey, when he said a central bank is using Bitcoin, I was like, what? England? France? Italy? It's Venezuela. Nobody, they're like the poor kid on the block, especially in the U.S. where we hammer on them all the time as being some sort of, banana republic, that abuses their citizens and all that stuff. Venezuela gets a bad rap in our mainstream media, but, here is it has a lot of oil reserves too. So they're being sanctioned by the U.S. Because they're not playing ball with the U.S. I won't go into all of that. But they're considering using Bitcoin for buying and selling oil. And that's a first, right? This is a central bank of a real country has decided that they're going to start adopting Bitcoin, right? That's huge. So let's say that Russia does the same thing, and Iran and Turkey and whatever, China, and then, God, who knows, Japan. They all start deciding that, they should be trading on the international market using cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. This is just tear the whole thing wide open, all right? So that's a really cool story. You should check into it a little more. That they're considering depositing Bitcoin and using it to accept payment for their oil and to buy things from other countries. It's just major, major, major. Yeah. Ukraine, right? Ukraine. That's funny. Yeah, so we'll see where this goes, right? So the United States outlawed U.S. citizens from buying their petro cryptocurrency, which was their first attempt at breaking into the cryptocurrency market, back when all altcoins were the rage. But now they're just thinking of adopting Bitcoin and Ethereum for their purposes, and this could be huge. Right, so I wanted to point out that story. I thought that was great. What else can we do? Okay, so we got the ledger. We talked about native SegWit. I don't know that I've got much Bitcoin. Why don't I, let's see, why don't we, there's 77. Yeah, my God, that was $100 worth of Bitcoin a couple days ago. Now it's only $77 worth of Bitcoin. Why don't we, this is native SegWit. Why don't we put $20 worth of Bitcoin into our Binance account? Let's just watch that happen. Right? So let's go over to Binance. Let's do a deposit. Right? And there's the Bitcoin address. You'll notice that that is an older style Bitcoin address. It starts with a 1. Newer Bitcoin addresses start with a 3. The SegWit Bitcoin addresses. And then there's other Bitcoin addresses that start with BC1. Those are the newer native SegWit Bitcoin addresses. But we can still send Bitcoin to one of the older addresses. I believe they use this format for compatibility. There may be some people that don't have native SegWit Bitcoin wallets and they wouldn't be able to send to one. So Binance is just trying to cover all the bases. Actually, why not send it into, let's send it into our Crypto.com account. So let's see here. First thing I'm going to need to do is get that address on my computer. All right, so, and I've noticed that deposits take a while, but c'est la vie. Let's say, let's go to our wallet down here at the bottom. Any day now. All right, and let's hit Bitcoin. And let's do a deposit. All right, there's that Bitcoin address. They give me a QR code, but I need to send from my ledger. So I can't really use that QR code. I'm going to copy. Actually, no. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to share it, right? I'm going to share it with myself. So I'll share it with Rex. Ugh, always happens to me. Okay. And this is Bitcoin. We'll send that over to my computer so that I'll have access to it. All right, so let's take this down. I just heard it come in. Let's go over to my email. And here I am kind of exposing the sending address, not the public key, the sending address. All right. And you'll see they've got the more newer. They've got the native SegWit, but they don't have the BC1. But no big deal. All right, so let's go to our Ledger Live. And we want to send some Bitcoin. Whoops. Let's do it this way. Let's go to the accounts. We're just going to do $20 worth of Bitcoin. We're not going to go crazy here. I have a native SegWit account, and I'm going to hit send. And the recipient address is that address that we got from Crypto.com. We could max it out. Yeah, let's max it out. Why not? All right. Now, we need to, I'm going to show you the ledger over here. Oops. Something weird happened. All right, that is ADA. So we're going to hit the arrows till we get to quit and hit both buttons. And now we're going to go back to Bitcoin. Hey, there's Digibyte, Scott. All right, so now we're at Bitcoin. Let's hit both buttons. All right. All right, and now we're going to hit continue here. We'll hit continue. And we are in the Bitcoin app, so we're fine there. Now we're going to go over here. All right, the application is ready. Now it wants me to review the transaction. So let's hit the button. All right, there's the amount. There's the address. It all fits on one screen. There's the fees, and then we can hit accept and send. All right. All right. Looks good. All right. So we got it sent out. And that's it. So you'll notice there that we sent out Bitcoin from our hardware wallet. We had to confirm with those buttons. That was the security. So no one could remotely hack in to my wallet and withdraw Bitcoin, because there's a security mechanism on that hardware wallet that it will not send out Bitcoin unless the buttons are actually pressed. That's the security of that wallet. Right? And then the wallet should be empty now. Okay. In fact, now that that address is empty, I can go ahead and delete it. I don't really need it anymore. It's still on the device. I just don't need to see it anymore in Ledger Live. Right? We could always re-add it. No biggie. Easy. All right. So there we go. Let's take a look at our crypto.com. Now, it's going to be a while before we actually see that in my crypto.com account. I've noticed that Bitcoin deposits take quite a while. Yeah. Looks like I just got some, oh, I got a referral bonus today. Glory day. I missed that. Oh, it's crypto earned. I earned 40, no. Huh, interesting. Looks like I got it. So, Friday, September 27th, I did receive a referral bonus of MCO. So, when you open up a crypto.com account using my referral link, they'll give you $50, but you will have to stake for a card, right? One of their MCO cards. But, you know, I just told you the card's pretty cool. So they'll just give you $50 when you do that. And then they give me $50 if you use my referral link. So, and then if you refer your friends using your referral link, the same thing will happen. You know, if you can talk your friends into opening up a crypto.com account using your referral link, then they'll get $50 and you'll get $50. So it's kind of a win-win, right? But they will have to stake some money to get that card. It's like a security deposit. But you do get it back eventually. So things are looking pretty good. Let's see if there's any questions going out. There was a lot of news, and I was thinking I would talk about the news the whole time, but then it got so dry, I gave it up. Okay, so some people are talking about the states. Yeah, I believe there's 13 missing states for crypto.com. And Binance US is not available in all states either. So to those of you who are viewing from the states where it's not available, I apologize. But they are working on getting accredited in all the states in the U.S., so it's probably just a matter of time. New York will probably be the last one. They're the toughest for cryptocurrency. But I think as adoption moves forward, that the regulatory environment will be more inviting. They'll get to the point where they don't want to miss out, right? So they will allow cryptocurrency exchanges and cryptocurrency companies to do business in their state because it's in their interest, right? It'll be a revenue stream for them. The state, you know, the government. All right. So let's see here. Well, Petro, I don't know if Petro will go to the moon. We're in the U.S. We're not even allowed to buy it, you know. But other people might buy it. It might be, you know, and funny, if it starts going to the moon, then people in the U.S. will be interested in it, and might have some effect on U.S. policy. I was talking with David yesterday that, he said, well, what if they outlaw Bitcoin? And I said, well, they could try, but it might not be successful. Just because the U.S. outlaws something doesn't mean it's going to work, right? And I talked about prohibition. The U.S. government tried to outlaw alcohol back in the 1920s, and that didn't work out so well, right? And then they ended up repealing it for many reasons. But I think, it made the gangsters a lot of money, and the gangsters became more powerful. That's one aspect of why it didn't work out. And then the other one is that it turned normal citizens into lawbreakers, right? The government thrives when people tend to respect the law. And when there's a crazy law that no one wants to listen to, like you're not allowed to buy and sell alcohol, and people are breaking that law all the time, and then not only are you breaking it, but you see everyone else around you breaking it, respect for the law tends to go down a bit, right? So I think the U.S. government realized that prohibition was a bad idea for those reasons and many others. So they repealed it. So the same thing could happen with Bitcoin. It's not out of the realm of possibility. They might try to outlaw it and then find that it creates more problems than it solves, and then allow it. Who knows, right? Stranger things have happened. All right. So I am in Michigan, and it is raining outside. I always like that feeling of being inside at night when you can hear the rain pitter-pattering out. David's asking about regular Binance. They're still allowing people in the U.S. to trade, as far as we can tell. Maybe they're blocking people from certain states. I don't know. But David pointed out to me that he was still able to trade on Binance. And when I go on to Binance proper, I don't see deposits and trades dimmed out. So, I thought that they were going to block people with US IP addresses, but they haven't started doing that yet. But my thing is, luckily for me, my state, I can open a Binance US account, and I'll probably just switch over to that. There's a lot of cool things about Binance US. You can transfer money in there pretty easily, I found. And they're not charging any fees for this first month. So this is the time, if you've got some extra money, you can just transfer it in for no fees, and you can trade for no fees. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Now, when they get to business as usual, you got to weigh your options. Do I want to use Coinbase? Do I want to use Bittrex? Do I want to use Binance US? Do I want to use Poloniex or whatever? That's all based on your personal preferences. But I would, recommend you try out Binance US. See how that works out for you. Hello from Wyoming. Hey, Dan. Good to have you here. Yes. Oh, yeah. Juana brought up the marijuana issue. Marijuana was I guess you would call it prohibition. It was illegal to hold, use, sell, of course. But many states are starting to legalize. And, the first few states, it was kind of weird because the federal government was threatening to, enforce the national marijuana. It's a controlled substance or whatever. So, but now that more and more states have started to legalize marijuana, I don't know how many there are now. I think it's more than 20. That gradually, Kamala Harris has suggested, a bill to legalize marijuana on a national level. So, not every law that the government passes works out in the end, right? Not every law is perfect, right? They have to be changed, amended, and so we'll see. Yeah, they may decide not to legalize or outlaw Bitcoin. They may be forward looking in that. My view is that the more rich, powerful people start to get vested in Bitcoin and see its value, the harder it will be for the government to regulate and outlaw Bitcoin. When powerful people have an interest in a commodity, then it will be more difficult to get a law passed outlawing it, right? If there, is a way to do. And technically, it's not. It's difficult. It's to outlaw Bitcoin because anyone with a computer can download a Bitcoin node. Can you link your bank account to Binance US? Yes, you can. I found it quite easy. You basically have to go through in the settings, and I try not to reveal any personal information, but I already do quite a bit. Okay. All right, so I went through the steps of verification. So if you go to your Binance US account and go to settings, you'll see the basic verification, the advanced verification. That's where you're required to show a form of ID. And then the fiat account verification. And that is where, I forget what you have to do to get that. I forget which is which. But I have a video, if you guys, it walks you through the whole thing. Pretty simple. And once you get those three, then you could manage your payment. You click manage, just add a payment method and link it to your bank account. I put in my account and routing number, and now it's very simple. I just choose deposit, put in an amount, and pull it down where it says bank account, choose my bank account, and fund it. And the money gets in there in like 10 minutes or less. It's pretty fast. Much faster than Coinbase, if I recall. It's just like a straight ACH transfer. So that may be... now, I talked to someone in my comments said that Binance put like a 10-day hold on their bank deposit. So I'm not sure if that was his bank or the state he was in, or the fact that it was the first time, his credit worthiness could be. There's so many different factors they may be looking at, but I would assume it's probably more related to which bank he was using and what state he was in than anything else. But I did not have that restriction on mine. I was able to make a deposit and purchase within the course of the video that I was recording. So pretty easy. Against the law to spit on the sidewalk, yeah. How much US dollar can you withdraw per day on Binance? Well, it tells that I can withdraw 1 million. I don't know if that's per day or what. You got the 5,000 tier, you got the $1,000 tier. I don't know if now that I've got my bank account, if it's unlimited or whatever. I've got nothing anywhere near that I could withdraw. As you guys can see, it's like $350. So I'm not too worried about their withdrawal limits at the moment. But we'll see how things go. And I got a $15 referral from that link down in the description, the US, Binance US. So thanks out there to somebody that opened an account using my referral link. I don't think it cost him anything. And I think they give you $15 just by using the referral link. So that's a win-win, definitely. You don't have to stake anything as far as I know. Maybe you have to make a deposit, whatever it is. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I think you do. You have to make a trade, $100 trade or something. But not that difficult, All right, so once again, go down in the description. Look at all those cool links I've got for all the news stories I talked about tonight. Do your own research, have some fun. And if you have a mind to get a ledger or open a crypto.com account or open a Binance account, I would encourage you to use my referral links. It'll benefit both of us if you're interested. I'm not trying to push you into anything, but if you're interested, I encourage you to use my links. Didn't get my 15 bucks. Oh, that was Cal Gapo. Yay, Cal Gapo. I hope he gets his 15. If it was you, Cal Gapo, I appreciate it. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I think you've got to make $100 trade, if I'm not mistaken. I think they even say it here. Where does it say it? Oh, it doesn't there. But yeah, I believe you have to trade $100 worth of something. Which just means buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, I guess. You know, something like that. And as you can see, I did mine. Actually, I deposited some Bitcoin and I bought some Bitcoin. All right, guys. So the rain is pitter-pattering. I'm going to go watch some TV with my wife and have another Michigan ale. Love this Michigan beer. Let me see if I can plug these guys, man. There's some good, let's see, Storm, Cloud, Rainmaker. Oh, man, I really love a keg of this stuff. Oh, you can get a whole keg of it. Ooh. Rainmaker Ale, right? There are so many local breweries in Michigan. And I love this Storm Cloud Brewing Company. They're based up in Frankfort, which is way up north on the coast of Lake Michigan. I'd love to plan a trip up there and check out their restaurant, right? Let's go here. That's so funny. He'll say you can buy a whole keg, right? But it tastes a lot like Belgian ale, which is, I always like Belgian ale. So I'll probably get in trouble for, wow. What a nice website, right? I'll probably get in trouble for talking about beer on my YouTube channel, so we better take that one. On the coast of Lake Michigan. All right, so it's not that far behind. Don't forget, I have a live stream every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me again next week for Welcome to Pure Michigan, live Michigan Q&A. I'll blather on about the news. I'll move some crypto around, and I'll do my best to answer all your questions right there on the spot. Hopefully get you out of a jam. Hope to see you there. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you again soon.